From Channel 4, Dallas and Fort Worth, the 10 o'clock news with Chip Moody, Clarice Tinsley, Wayne Shattuck, and Dale Hansen.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you very much for joining us. A big question tonight, and the question is this: freak accident or illegal wiretap? The answer to that question is what Denton millionaire Rex Cauble and his attorney want tonight, even if it takes a special prosecutor or a federal grand jury to get it. G. Brockett Irwin, a criminal attorney in Longview, believes a possible illegal wiretap could have hurt Cauble's efforts to get a new trial. Cauble, you will recall, was convicted of drug smuggling earlier this year. Now, Channel 4's Bud Gillette has been researching this exclusive report in East Texas today. Bud, what exactly is the situation now?
Well, Chip, some critics of Irwin or Cauble might be tempted to write this off as a grandstanding ploy by the defense, except the whole thing was uncovered not by Irwin, but from people of the very federal agency trying to put Cauble behind bars.
For 2 consecutive days last month, U.S. Attorney Jim Rolfe picked up his phone in Dallas, dialed the government's long-distance access code, then Irwin's number in Longview. But the phone was answered 40 miles away, in Tyler, by the receptionist of Judge William Steger, the very man who presided over Rex Cauble's drug trial. An incredulous Irwin came to Dallas, where Rolfe repeated the process in front of him. After notifying the court what happened, Irwin then notified his own communications team.
Their opinion was that it was a wiretap, and that either I was independently wiretapped or Judge Steger and I both were wiretapped.
Here in Tyler, I was unable to contact Judge Steger, but I did talk to the receptionist who inadvertently got the calls meant for Irwin. She acknowledged at least having one call. But when I asked if the judge had his own phone system checked out for a tap following the incident, there was a pause, and then she said no comment.
But at least 2 investigations were ordered, the first by the judge when Irwin filed a motion at a Cauble appeal hearing. But the results of that probe were sealed and sent to an appeals court in New Orleans. The other was by the FBI, which reportedly wrote the incident off as a freak accident in the government's long-distance switching trunk. A misconnection, investigators said, a switch jammed open. Irwin's people disagree.
The theory that it was a freak occurrence is without merit, for the reasons that it occurred over a 2-day period, numerous times, and there's no similarity in the digits between my number and Judge Steger's number.
Irwin doesn't outright accuse anyone of planting the bug, though he's got some suspicions. What he needs now is evidence. And the U.S. attorney for the Longview area, not Rolfe but another attorney, told me today the government has ordered no legal wiretap for Irwin or Steger. The attorney added that if Irwin wants, a special prosecutor will be appointed to do an independent investigation, and Chip, presumably that would include probes by both the FBI and the Drug Enforcement Agency.
Okay, still more to come on this story in the days ahead.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Certainly.
In other news tonight, Federal Judge Barefoot Sanders met privately this evening with the Dallas School Board and the attorneys in the school desegregation case. Before the hastily called meeting got underway, many observers believed that perhaps the school board planned to withdraw its appeal of Sanders' court order. But when the participants left the federal building, they said no such move is underway.
Have they asked Judge Sanders to soften any of the positions he took in that order?
There were no requests made to the judge, and of course there's nothing pending before Judge Sanders at this time. At the present time, the matter is on appeal.
What specifically were they asking him about?
It's just impossible to talk about any specific items. There's various items, and they covered the broad range of the court's supervision, of the monitoring of the desegregation process.
The Dallas School Board wanted clarification on 2 specific points: the 20% hiring quota for Hispanic teachers and the new school attendance zone lines in North Dallas high schools. In the meantime, Monday is the deadline for a counter-appeal from the plaintiffs in the case. NAACP attorney Ernest Haywood said that tonight's meeting will have no effect on whether that cross-appeal is filed or not. The decision is final tonight. 3 Limestone County lawmen will stand trial in Dallas.
That, of course, is a long-awaited decision, and a rather significant one, too, because the trial location has been changed 3 times. The trial involves 3 law enforcement officers who are connected to the drowning deaths of 3 young blacks. They died crossing Lake Mejia in a police boat while in the custody of the Limestone County officers. Each man is now charged with negligent homicide. Attorneys for the officers repeatedly asked to have the trial moved, fearing that news coverage of the drowning would prevent their clients from getting a fair trial. Today, Judge Tom Price reviewed a collection of television news reports and issued his decision.
Viewing the tapes, the evidence that was presented during the trial of the motion for change of venue hearing, the court overrules the defense motion for change of venue. Trial will begin March 29th at 10 o'clock.
And Judge Price expects the selection of a jury to take about 1 week. Clarice?
The bloody fighting in El Salvador has claimed 32,000 lives during the past 2.5 years of civil war. Tonight, there are 4 more victims, but they are foreigners, Dutch television journalists, apparently killed in a shootout between the Salvadoran army and leftist rebels. Late today, the bodies were brought to a morgue in the capital city. A colleague who identified the victims said, quote, "Their faces were so shot out, we could hardly recognize our friends." Richard Wagner reports.
Responding to reports of bodies being found in a field some 30 miles north of San Salvador, journalists who hurried to the scene found not bodies, but bloody clothing apparently pierced by bullets. Labels indicated the items were made in Europe. However, the Dutch Honorary Consul General here told reporters this afternoon that he has received reports that 4 bodies were found, and he's certain that they are those of 4 Dutch journalists who have been working in this country.
In my mind, it's confirmed, but I have no information.
The bodies in the possession of the Salvadoran authorities are apparently those of Jacobus Andres Koster, Jan Cornelius Kuiper, Jacobus Jan Willensen, and Hans Lodewijk Terlag. Last Thursday, Koster was detained and questioned by police after his name and hotel room number were found on the body of a dead gorilla. Koster denied knowing any leftists here. He said his name could have been given to the gorilla by someone else. Koster, accompanied by the others, left his hotel room yesterday afternoon, saying he would be back Saturday or Sunday. Late today, knapsacks believed to belong to the Dutch journalists were brought to the Defense Ministry. The apparent murders come just 1 day after the publication here of a so-called death list, marking certain journalists for execution by right-wing extremists. The names of the 4 men from the Netherlands were not on the list. Richard Wagner, CBS News, San Salvador.
In other news tonight, some rough weather may be on the horizon for that big plan announced yesterday by Braniff and Pan American Airlines. Under that plan, Braniff would surrender its routes to South America in exchange for some badly needed cash, about $30 million. But tonight, sources close to the Civil Aeronautics Board are predicting an antitrust challenge. Air Florida and Eastern Airlines are now petitioning the CAB, asking for the routes being dropped by Braniff. They claim that unless they get some of the routes, Pan Am will be the single dominant air carrier to South America, and that, they claim, would be an unfair monopoly.
The countdown is well underway tonight for the 3rd launch of the Space Shuttle Columbia. But there's been a change, one that will distinguish this launch from the others. The Columbia will land in New Mexico, not California. The strip at Edwards Air Force Base is flooded, making the normally sun-baked runway unfit for landing. NASA approved the strip at White Sands Missile Range, but technicians say that's a problem because they've got to relocate all of the post-landing equipment. 21 vehicles will be moved by train, but NASA will have to improvise a way to hoist the Columbia on top of an airplane for its trip back to the Cape. And that costly process could delay the 4th and final test flight. Coming up next for you, part 3 of our special report on the future of Matagorda Island.
And tonight, Vicki Monk looks ahead to what happens when Washington gives up its control over this pristine island.
Now at Weir's, our finest 100% white goose down pillow for only $35 each. Limit 2 per customer, please. Another eye-opener special from Weir's.
Walmart's big automotive sale has everything you need to keep your car in great shape. Do it yourself and really save at Walmart. We've got the latest name brand products like Turtle Wax's Color Back. It instantly restores the color and shine of your car's finish for only $3.74. Hastings Tayside Tune-Up, just $1.83. Save another $1 with a manufacturer's rebate for a final cost after rebate of only 83 cents. Don't miss the tremendous automotive sale going on now through Saturday at Walmart.
The greatest auto show and sale of the year, the Dallas Auto Show, Market Hall, March 17th through the 21st. Discount tickets at all Dallas Vineyards food stores.
Tonight at 10:30, it's All in the Family.
Don't you leave. What is the suitcase for, Mother? I'm doing this just as much for you as I am for myself.
Wait a second.
Where is it going? If anybody wants me, I'll be a truth.
You leave this house while I am uptight about my grades. And don't bother coming back. You hear me? Don't bother coming back. Wait a minute, Meathead. It's her house.
All in the Family, tonight at 10:30 on Channel 4.
United States Congressman Bill Patman says he will introduce legislation next week to give Texas control of Matagorda Island.
But environmentalists are worried about the state's plans for the island.
Tonight, Channel 4's Vicki Monks takes a look at just what the state wants to do in Part 3 of Matagorda, Island in a Storm.
Matagorda Island is one of the last of just a few barrier islands that remain in their natural conditions. That makes it prime country for wildlife. It's an important feeding ground for migratory birds and all sorts of endangered animals. Texas has come up with a plan to develop Matagorda for recreation if it can get the island from the federal government.
You might say only the hardy in spirit come to hunt and camp on Matagorda Island. Conditions are primitive here. The state would like to make things a whole lot more comfortable for those folks by putting in hot showers, sewage, and other facilities.
A lot of people are worried the state's plan would hurt the wildlife on the island. Governor Clements is not worried.
Oh, a lot of people are worried, sure. There would not be any development of the island. That's all in the plan.
There would be duck blinds and deer stands for hunters, overnight accommodation, picnic tables, shade shelters, chemical toilets on the beach concessions, electrical generating system, a water treatment plant, a sewage treatment plant, and so forth.
That's all straight out of the state's conceptual plan for Matagorda. Texas Parks and Wildlife Director Dickie Travis claims none of this would interfere with the wildlife.
That can be compatible under really minimum constraints and really allow more people to enjoy that island without damaging the resources there.
The Aransas Refuge Matagorda Island area is the primary winter home for the endangered whooping crane. The species is 2 million years old, but there are so few whooping cranes left now, they're in danger of extinction. Biologists say if whooping crane territory isn't carefully managed, the birds might disappear forever.
I believe that any development of the island for extreme purposes, for recreational purposes, with extremely large numbers of people involved, would eventually have an adverse effect on the birds.
I think that those kind of statements stem from ignorance. The whooping crane population has done nothing but increase. There's never been known, to my knowledge, and I've asked that specific question, a whooping crane to nest on Matagorda Island. If you've ever seen Matagorda Island, you'd understand why. There's no cover on Matagorda Island.
The governor's statement is technically correct, but it misses the point. Whooping cranes actually nest in Canada in the summertime.
What the whooping cranes do along the South Texas coast is winter and mate. And according to biologists who know most about the birds, the whooping cranes do that on Matagorda Island.
It has been determined that this is a critical habitat for the whooping crane.
Audubon Society biologist David Blankenship has been studying the whoopers for 11 years. Blankenship says just the visual presence of a lot of people on Matagorda's uplands would chase the shy cranes out of the marshes. And he says there's no place else the cranes can go.
If those were lost to the whooping crane, then it would greatly reduce the security of the species.
11,000 people a year already visit Matagorda. The Texas Parks and Wildlife Department doesn't know how many more visitors its proposed improvements would attract, but Director Dickie Travis points out the Texas population is expanding rapidly, and that means increasing pressure for more recreation areas. Travis says that's one reason the state submitted its plan for the island.
Even if there were nothing wrong with the state's plans for Matagorda Island, environmentalists believe some state officials have a whole lot more in mind for this island than what's in the plan. Tomorrow night, we'll tell you why. Vicki Monks, Channel 4 News, Matagorda Island.
Well, it's almost Friday, and that, of course, means that Saturday and Sunday can't be too far behind.
Our man Wayne Shattuck has our weekend forecast for Fort Worth and Dallas, so stay with us.
At the Jack Nicholas house, a Uniden extender phone replaces old-fashioned extension phone.
Barb wants to say goodbye.
Bye, Mom. Hold on, the kids want to say goodbye.
The extender phone. It has no cord, so you can take it with you. Carry it anywhere, in or around the house. And you can place or receive calls from anywhere in the world. The Uniden extender phone.
It goes with a conversation.
I'm John Marino, and it took a lot of momentum to set a world record by crossing the United States in 12 days on a bicycle. And now you can take momentum with you wherever you go with this, a Mercantile Impact Card. It lets you get cash automatically 24 hours a day all over town and all over Texas. So why ride cross-country just to get to the bank? Get a Mercantile Impact Card. It's momentum to go.
Let yourself feel how splendid you are with a rich, expressive new fragrance created by Gloria Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt. Let it release the splendor of you. Vanderbilt.
This carry-all and half-ounce eau de toilette, $12.50 with any purchase of Vanderbilt fragrance at Sanger Harris.
Mr. Wentworth always appreciates a juicy deal.
At Church's, our prices are as juicy as our chicken.
Worth every penny you paid for it, madam. No.
This was a steal. This is a deal.
At Church's, fried chicken. We make chicken and juicy deal.
All right, time now for the weather, and Mr. Shattuck has been watching the various maps and studying the weather patterns, and you say this tends to put you in the direction of forecasting rain for Dallas-Fort Worth.
It looks like rain is headed our way. In fact, I think it will be getting into the panhandle in just another hour, so some of it might be violent. Because of that, a tornado watch has been issued. Let's show you the satellite picture across Texas tonight. Most of the eastern two-thirds of Texas generally clear, as you can see, but the heavy cloudiness is starting to pick up now in the western sections of the state, and we can see a couple of bubbly spots. One right on the New Mexico-Texas border, also a large area up in southwestern Kansas. Now, these are in the prime areas. All of this mess is moving towards the northeast at about 40 miles per hour. Very shortly, the heavy thunderstorms will be getting into the Texas Panhandle, and that's where part of this tornado watch until 4 o'clock tomorrow morning is in effect. It stretches all the way up into southwestern parts of Kansas. Let's see what we've got in the Dallas-Fort Worth area right now. At present, clear skies, 74 degrees. Our humidity, 64%. Winds are out of the south at 12 miles per hour, and our barometric pressure, 2989 and steady. Our early morning low is 67. High today, 85. We've had no precipitation in the past 24 hours. Our pollution index out of Fort Worth in the good range, a reading of 42 today. For Dallas, moderate, 51, and the pollen count total today, 1919. Now, here are our temperatures across the state this evening. Pretty mild for the most part, 70s and 80s in almost all areas of the state. It is a little bit cooler up in the Panhandle, as it is most of the time. 67 degrees coming out of Amarillo right now. And our entire weather map tonight shows the development of our latest cold front. This is just beginning to form across central sections of New Mexico. Just ahead of it is where in the next couple of hours we may have some very intense weather develop. It will intensify the system, the frontal system, and move across the state in support with an upper-level disturbance coming right across New Mexico into Texas over Oklahoma and Kansas in the next 24 hours. We will get some showers and thunderstorms, I think, most likely in the afternoon hours tomorrow. Even heavier storms are likely for Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, and on into the lower Ohio Valley. Now, our temperatures tonight are very mild. However, there is a freeze line from the northern Rockies through the northern plains into the upper Great Lakes. Also, for parts of the northeast, some of our temperatures include 47 at Washington, D.C., and 38 degrees right now at Salt Lake City. Now, our forecast for the next 24 hours, we're expecting more snow in the northern and central Rockies tomorrow, and a band of snow from the western through northern plains into the Great Lakes area. Below that, rain. And this map is set up for about 6 p.m. tomorrow night. I think it will be about that time that the front will be passing over and east of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. If that is correct, that's about the time we will end our rain pattern and shift it all on to the east. So here's our forecast. This is the way it looks for Dallas-Fort Worth and most of North Texas tonight. Clear to partly cloudy with northerly or southerly winds at 10 to 20 and 66 for low. For tomorrow, partly cloudy to cloudy, pretty good chance of thunderstorms scattered about. Southwesterly winds at 20 to 30 miles per hour and a high of 80 degrees. On Saturday, fair to partly cloudy, 68. Sunday will be sunny and 72, and Monday, fair to partly cloudy and 80 degrees.
Okay, you know, with the space shuttle coming back in New Mexico, a lot of Texans probably will want to make the trip. It'll probably be about a 600-mile drive or so. But the shuttle should be coming back March 29th at White Sands, in case you want to make plans to drive out and watch Columbia come back to Earth.
And we will keep an eye on it from the Channel 4 weather station.
You better believe it. All right. Thank you, Ann.
From the sports scene tonight, NCAA basketball continues this evening. Dale Hansen is back. You'll get the top sports of the day right after this.
Excuse me. Howdy. I have a problem. I've got this in my St. Augustine lawn.
Aha, that is chickweed.
Oh, that's chickweed.
That's it.
I also have this, and I got this.
Oh, here you got some lawn.
Yeah.
What you'll need is Bonus S, weed and feed for St. Augustine lawns. Gets rid of all kinds of weeds, and it fertilizes, too.
Will it work?
Hey, Scott's guarantees you to get rid of 25 different weeds.
How about this one?
That's poison ivy.
Bonus S. One reason you'll have a better lawn with Scott's.
It's the last 2 days. Sanger Harris is in bloom with store-wide savings during Springfest 82. Circle your calendar for fresh sales, clearances, and special values. You'll save 20 to 25% on selected career, casual, and activewear for both Missy and Junior. Save 15 to 29% on assorted men's suits, shirts, and slacks. 25 to 50% on selected furniture. 33% on assorted jewelry. Save $51 to $100 on selected televisions and major appliances, and there's much more. Don't miss Sanger Harris Springfest 82. It's the last 2 days to save.
At Greenfield, all we ask is that when you get ready to buy office furniture or accessories, you'll visit our showroom and see for yourself just how much money you can really save. Selection, color, style, quality, and price are all yours at Greenfield. And remember,
no service, credit, or delivery fees are added unless you ask for these. Hey, Mr. Greenfield, it sounds just great for me.
2800 West Mockingbird Lane across from Love Field.
You look like the picture of good health.
I really feel great. Isn't that what we're supposed to say? All the time, right? Okay, thank you. NCAA tournament continues with 4 games tonight. Georgetown and Fresno State is being tape delayed. We'll have that one after All in the Family. You should know by now, if Russia blew up the world and yet we somehow survived, we'd hold that until after All in the Family. Minnesota playing Louisville tonight. That's Randy Brewer from Minnesota right there. Had 13 points in the first half. Minnesota led by 7 points early on, but it was Louisville at the half by 1. Then that young man, Lancaster Flash Gordon, for Louisville. Here again, gets 23 points in the basketball game, and Louisville puts Minnesota out. 67-61 the final tonight. NCAA tournament tonight, Virginia is falling behind Alabama-Birmingham. That ball game just in the first half of play. Oregon State beat Idaho 60-42. NIT scores tonight. Oklahoma, Georgia, Bradley, all winning. Texas A&M plays Purdue in that tournament tomorrow night. CBS national game, and the one that we will have on Channel 4 tomorrow night, North Carolina and Alabama. And again, it is tape delayed at 11. A lot of callers wanting Houston and Missouri. That might be on the cable somewhere, but I don't know which one. Brad Davis might be tired of seeing this by now, but it's such a great shot. Davis made this one from 80 feet last night, tied that game with Chicago to half. Still don't believe it. Mavericks did lose by 10, have now lost their last 2, and have to play the L.A. Lakers tomorrow night.
We didn't penetrate or attack like we have been over the last few games. We didn't play a good second half against L.A., and it looks like we might be in a little downer now. We've been up on a peak for so long that it appears that we were just like a half a step slow on everything here.
2 games of final in the NBA tonight. Atlanta did beat Houston by a point, and Detroit beat Seattle 119-115. Cowboys are raising ticket prices for 82, $15 now. It was 12, some for only 8 the last couple of years, but it's $15 now, and that's for every seat at Texas Stadium. Doesn't matter where you sit. Texas has had some great defensive backs the last couple of years. Man in charge of this defensive backfield, Alan Lowry, is now on the Cowboys staff. Lowry, leaving Austin after 5 years there, will be in charge of the Cowboys' special teams in 82. 3 players are tied for the lead after 1 round in the Tournament Players Championship. Larry Nelson, Lynn Lott, and George Burns in at 67. Don January, a 69. And Lee Trevino has never had a higher score. Trevino an 82 this first day. Rangers game in Montreal today, another good one. Buddy Bell, a 3-run homer. Pitchers Charlie Huff and Doc Medich look very good. Rangers won it 4-0. And you've probably heard this by now. Houston pitcher Don Sutton wants to be traded. This after 1 year in Houston. Big contract, bonus to sign. Explains it this way.
And I know that there are a lot of people who won't understand, and I really don't fully expect everybody to understand. And I especially don't expect most fans to understand, because most fans can't get past dollar signs. Sure. And most fans want all the privileges and none of the responsibilities. But even being a ball player who makes a good living in a great atmosphere here, I did stop being a human being when I signed the contract.
I don't know what that says about me, but I didn't understand it at 6. I don't understand it at 10. Just call me a fan, and Don, I'm really sorry.
Welcome back.
Okay.
And well said, Mr. Hanson. When we come back, we'll drop in on Mount St. Helens, which is getting set for an encore performance. We'll be right back.
Compare dandruff shampoos. There's good, there's better, and then there's Blue. Selsun Blue, the best dandruff shampoo money can buy. Clinical testing among leading brands proved it works best with more complete dandruff control. Selsun Blue is the only leading brand with the anti-dandruff ingredient doctors recommend most. Remember, there's good, there's better, and there's Blue. Selsun Blue. It simply works the best.
Of course you could have an appointment for new glasses sometime next month.
When you just can't wait that long, come to TSO, a trusted name in eyewear for over 45 years, offering a wide selection of fashion frames, quality lenses, and accurately filled prescriptions. TSO, prices you can afford, quality you can see. There's a new TSO office at 506 Richardson in Athens. MasterCard and Visa honored. Relaxing music all the time. FM 105, Coax, KOAX. Touch it. Touch it.
I love it. It smells great.
It's Touch of Scent. Not just another room deodorizer, but an exciting new idea in air fresheners. Touch of Scent is always at your fingertips, whenever you need it. Touch of Scent's decorative dispenser looks beautiful in every room of your home and is easily refillable with your choice of 4 delightful fragrances. Another fine product from Scott's Liquid Gold. Touch of Scent.
Touch it.
And finally tonight, it looks like Mount St. Helens is getting ready to blow its top one more time.
Scientists in Washington State have been keeping close tabs on the mountain since the violent eruptions of 1980, which left 60 people dead. And they say pressure is building on the huge lava dome inside its crater.
Some scientists spent the day inside the crater setting up sensitive laser beam equipment which measures earth tremors underneath the mountain.
Right now, there are as many as 30 small earthquakes every day, and that indicates trouble ahead.
The experts are saying this: the next eruption could come this weekend, but should be much milder than the deadly blast of 1980.
Still, only scientists are being allowed in the, quote, red zone around Mount St. Helens, just in case.
Good advice. Okay, time for us to wrap up tonight's 10 o'clock news. Remember, Wayne Shattuck says tonight our low should be in the mid-60s. Tomorrow, look for thunderstorms and a high near 80.
Just ahead for you, Archie in the Game, Dale's favorite show. So for Chip, Wayne, Dale, and the rest of the team, I'm Clarice Tinsley. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
Good night.